I'll be speaking to the man behind Classic Moldings. We have a wide range of new paint technique called color variation, and we'll be in not one room space. But for now, it's time to slide into the show that brings you magical elements in the spaces we live, work and play in. My name is Tim Njiru, and this is The Ideal Space.
Is a product which is made from marble and quartz chips. These chips come in certain colors, so the variation cannot be available in a wide range, but there's still plenty of choices available. These are then bonded together and applied with a trowel effect, and that's what creates the pattern that you see in this ideal space. Is that this cove has been brought out with the green crown variation, which has a mixture of the green marble as well as the white chips in it. I would use color variation not only in exterior in terms of pillars or highlighting windows, but also internally. They're ideal for forming coves, they're ideal for highlighting a space as a feature. They can be used in kitchens, they can be used in living rooms, they can be used in even family rooms. With color variation, you can always put in, even if it's a TV that you want to mount on, you want to put a mirror, you want to put lights. Because it's a very durable and strong product, it just needs to be carefully sort of put together and carefully mechanically put in. But you can ideally mount anything onto a wall that's got variation on it. Color variation can be adorned with a lot of different materials, with a lot of different objects. You could have a fountain, that's a small fountain that's sitting in front of it. You could have pots of various sizes that complement and contrast the color of the variation that you've chosen to apply on your wall. You could have a lazy boy, an armchair, a long French sofa. You could also put a lampshade with a short coffee table on the side. You could have it sitting even on its own if you have no adornments on it. The variation is a very beautiful effect, and it automatically attracts someone to move towards it. It's very important that you use the appropriate lighting to highlight this feature, because if you have, for instance, halogen lights that are on your drop ceiling that actually highlight this variation, you'll be able to see, if it's a two-chip effect on the variation, you'll be able to see both colors very well. For instance, in the wall that's behind me, it's the green and white, and under the light you'll be able to see the specks of white against the green. Variation can be used back to back in different shades. It all depends on the pattern that you are trying to create as a designer or as an individual, what effect you want to achieve. If you want to have a stripe effect of two different shades of variation, for instance, we've got a terracotta rust color in the variation and we've got a black, and if you wanted to have both of those in stripes, you could have them back to back against each other, because it's all about the application method. It's very simple. You've got to mask out the areas that are going to be different from each other, and you've got to then apply it with the masking tape in between. A lot of other people do decide to do, I have seen projects where stripe of variation has been used, and they've used a flat paint at the background first, so that when you have the gaps in between, you've got a very bright color which is not available in the variation in the form of paint forming that stripe. And again, it's playing texture versus pattern and material versus color. Color variation is not only ideal for walls or pillars, it can be used for ceilings depending on the look you want to achieve, the feel you want to achieve. It can be applied onto ceilings instead of paint, so you could choose a colored variation and have it applied on the ceiling, and ideally that would form the texture part of that space.
Hi, my name is Njiru. I'm an interior designer. I specialize in small confined spaces. Welcome to the ideal space. This is an SQ, basically. It's what we call a bedsitter. Yeah, it's located in South Sea. Yes, this is Liz. I'm speaking on behalf of Liz.
Why are you speaking on behalf of her?
Because I created the space, I created the whole ambience, I created the where things should go, where what should be placed everywhere.
Ideally, you're the designer.
Yes,
right.
I am the designer, yes. So I knew Liz, I'm going to give you just a small character of who she is, so you can know what kind of statement I'm supposed to be putting her through to the house, right?
Right.
Liz is a vibrant girl. She's a fire character and a down low person at the same time.
Fire character?
In what way?
Yeah, in what way? Explain it to me so that I'm able to understand.
Okay, we have 4 elements. We have water, air, earth, and fire.
Right.
So the fire is the vibrant shopping and have life, you know, just having fun and everything. So Liz is that kind of a character. In the same time, she likes her own space. So that's why we came in and just had to bring in the fire, the colors and the fires, and everything that now belongs to her comes into concept. It's quite small, so we had to look for the bed, just reach into that small space. Wood, no, because wood would be too homely and the space would be too small. So I thought that having a metal bed such as this.
A four-poster bed, you mean?
Yes, yeah. So we thought, I thought that having a metal bed such as this would be more confined, would be more profound as compared to a wooden bed. Yeah. We have the lampshade, which is black, but we compromised it to the yellow scarf just to bring in the color of it, the fire color of it. It's a warmly kind of ambience because it's a relaxing kind of mode, and she just likes having her own space, as I called it before. So that's now what the romantic kind of it. At the same time, just trying to blend in what her character is at the end of the day, plus now bringing the romantic or the warmly ambience in it. This is the sitting room or the living room. This is where she likes resting. So we thought that it would be great for us to have a very vibrant, strong color on the floor to reflect on what she wants on the roof. So that's why we have the red lampshade, kind of very easy, but it's really good because it matches up with the rug as well. So to create that balance, or rather to break that monotony of the red and the orange, we had the purple cushions thrown in.
But what does that say about her character? Purple. I mean,
purple is kind of, it blends in with the fire, because if you look at the fire very well, it has some traces of purple.
Purple.
Yes.
Tones of blue.
Exactly.
Yeah.
So we had to just mix match that and break down the monotony of this red color and the brightness of it, and just brought in the purple effect, which is silk. The grey tones are more of just to break down the color, the black and white, to bring the black and white to the blue. Small house requires storage, so we thought of just taking this as a storage facility to put her essentials there. So we walked into a supermarket, very affordable, and that's where we came up with the storage facility. So we had that, and plus a small space of putting her lotions and jewelry and just the small things that she calls her own. And I got this a souvenir for her from one of the shops in town to blend in, to have that blend the furniture she already has with the bed and the seat. So that's why it's metallic for our jewelry storage. So yeah, that's this house. SQ, very affordable, very spacey, and very ideal.
Imperfections of construction, which means that sometimes the plaster could be a little wobbly, and a cornice literally lines nicely the line between the ceiling and the wall.
Right.
And you will also you will feel that the painted wall,
yes,
that is at times darker than the ceiling color, will be much cleaner. It will be a cleaner line, and it does a major difference.
Where do you get the moldings from? Do you manufacture them?
No, we don't manufacture them, because to manufacture our type of moldings, one needs a very sophisticated factory.
Right. For the benefit of my viewer who would like to incorporate moldings in their space, the question of price is very, very key here. I have seen moldings in very big hotels and very big lounges. Can I incorporate the same type and style of moldings in my space?
Absolutely yes, Tim. The point is very simple. When you go today to any top-class hotel, if it's Sankara, Intercontinental, any good hotel in Europe, in the US, whatever, wherever, you will probably find a good quality molding. I'm sure that you assume that the sanitary ware will be of quality.
True.
And I can tell you that NMC and Orac, the core, that are based in Belgium or in the EU, they are usually the ones that are the players. Now, if you are asking me if the cost of moldings that you find in Holiday Inn is affordable for somebody who has a 1 or 2 bedroom apartment and not a high rent, somebody who is not of a high earning salary, I can tell you, surprisingly, it's very much yes.
Mr. Neumann, the Norfolk is a very, very interesting place to be, and I've noticed that there are architectural moldings and there are decorative paints incorporated in one room. How do these two complement each other?
Well, as you could see, Tim, the cornice gives you, first of all, it's a very nice and elaborate cornice. The cornice gives you a beautiful trim line and a beautiful self-shaded movement of the corner, of that corner in between the ceiling and the wall. Architectural moldings can be either classical, the classical are more curved, a bit more female, while the modern is a little more male, and range of geometric moldings. Here we have a stone finish, a real natural stone finish. Up there you see a wall with the same color and the cornice, wall and ceiling are actually the same color, and it looks amazing. Here you can see an example of a nice simple panel molding. This is called Z10, and that's the use of this molding. It always complements something else. Below, and you can see that this is actually a frame that is done on the ceiling. Here you can see below a very elaborate type of a molding, very flowery. This is really a matter of taste, from person to person. Not everyone would like it, but we enjoy to play with it. Here we see another example of an amazing finish with a molding. We have a nice textured finish on the wall. This is our Caravaggio. And then a molding, a beautiful molding that you could regard as a modern finish or classical, with a nice glass door, a very modern glass door, and here we see some stone. So this combination is the wide range of possibilities of moldings, as I said. Here is an example, here when we talk about our paint finishes with the moldings together, you can see a certain application we did. This is a Japanese material, it's called Miku. Here is Caravaggio, and look how they are joining together with a Japanese texture that is apparently a big hit in Kenya. All these Japanese finishes, very interesting movements, and people love this very much. Here is an amazing example of a sparkly, semi-sparkly sheen. You can see that in some areas the material actually is more sparkly, more shiny, and little waves, and the way to apply it is very, very easy. This is one of the materials that we drive people crazy when they realize how simple it is to apply and get the effect.
The pilgrimage to classic moldings, what is it all about?
Well, first of all, thank you very much for calling it a pilgrimage. But I think it is a sort of a pilgrimage. Look, we are one of the 3 companies in the whole world with the extent of development that we have done with decorative paints. Decorative paints is, or the development of techniques, is not that we have like 200, 500 types of paints. We have basically quite a number of materials, yes, and the idea is how do we incorporate 2 or 3 materials mixed together and forming a new technique.
What's behind you here is very interesting. What is the technique here, and is this accidental?
Yes, well, it's wanted. It's not, I wouldn't call, yes, it is in a way accidental. It is something that is, it's a desired accident. By the way, we grab the material with some brushes. We actually want to cause these different blobs, and if you can take a close-up, you can see that we want this to look like this. We want the wall to be like, there must be some rhythm, but it has to be different, which means differences with rhythm. It's very, very hard to explain, but I'm sure that people with a feel for art definitely enjoy it. It's just like a trunk of a tree.
What do you call this technique?
This is mahir. There is also a wash with a material called velatura. It's an Italian word. But you also need to train the person to get this thing.
Decorative paints?
One of the things that guide us a lot and triggers our enthusiasm is actually the creation of new techniques and development of new materials that are related to nature, to flowers, to trunks of trees, to anything in nature. Many times we develop things like the shape of the sand. I think that you know very well that we have one of the most amazing techniques we have is the movement of the sand on the beach. These are things that inspire us, and then we choose the blend of materials and we teach you, people like you, how to apply them, and it's stunning. And the best thing I can say, if to conclude, is that we help you to achieve something you can be very, very proud of. And you know what? In the beginning, we hear people say, oh, my guests will love it. But people then say also, I love to be in this environment of beautiful techniques of paints. And in the end of the day, it's not really expensive.
Transform your existing roof space into a room of endless possibilities. Turn it into a bedroom, a study, or a lounge with the amazing roof window from Classic Moldings.
Next week on the show, we bring you a very, very interesting paint technique.
Well, Armacoat has been in business for 26 years. We started making special plasters for squash courts, which are very hard plasters. These are taken from nature. When you look at patterns from nature, whether it's the lines of sand in the desert, or whether it's the flow of water, the way that nature works, it creates beautiful patterns. And what we've tried to do is draw some of the inspiration from nature to make patterns that have a nice flow and movement to them.
Feel free to write to us on the address which is on your screen right now. You can follow us on Twitter or share with us some ideas that make your spaces the ideal. My name is Tim Njiru. The question begs, how ideal is your space? Bye for now.